Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome one and all. And as always, we have a lot to talk about with Trump back in the White House, right? Right before the show, I set up the live stream. I was going to podcast live at 3, and then I saw, President Trump was going to have this meeting in the Oval Office with the president of Finland, and with everything that's going on, I'm going to wait until that is over before I podcast live, so I changed it to 4. And then there were some discussions with the president of Finland and Trump, and I changed what the title and the thumbnail on YouTube was for the program. Originally, I had a title and a thumbnail up. Some of you may have noticed it had Marjorie Taylor Greene in it. She went on CNN, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. And the question is, because a lot of people are saying this, she's betraying Trump and betraying MAGA. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But after watching the president of Finland and the press ask Trump a bunch of questions and the president answer these questions, I said, you know what? I'm going to change the title and the thumbnail and change my lead after this press conference. And what I changed it to was, the hostages are freed. The Israeli hostages, they're going to release all of them, and it's going to happen real quick. And, the people that are never Trumpers, okay, that are out there, how can you not support this man when you see everything he is doing here? Those of you that have been hating on Israel, how can you continue with that when you see what's happened here? I don't think Netanyahu wanted this peace deal. I really don't. I think I don't think he expected Hamas to agree to it. I don't think he wanted it. I think he wanted to go in and I can't say level Gaza because it's been pretty leveled, but I think he wanted to go in there and take Gaza and make it part of Israel again. And I could tell when Netanyahu had the press conference with Trump, when Trump announced the 20-point plan, I could tell that Netanyahu said he didn't think that they would go for it, and they did. So all of you Trump haters and anti-Semites and Israel haters that have been saying that President Trump is controlled by Israel and all this nonsense, this is not what the Prime Minister of Israel wanted. And I think that's pretty obvious. But he stopped the killing. And the president said it today. This is his 8th war that he's ended. I'm going to have to make a list of all of them. But he's ended 8 wars. He's ended every war in the world except one, right? Ukraine and Russia, Ukraine, whatever you want to call it. And the media, they keep asking about the Nobel Peace Prize. The president of Finland, he made a point. He said the former president of Finland won or was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize because he had brokered peace with 3 wars. Okay, Bosnia was one of them. I can't remember what the other 2 were. It was a while ago. But Trump has ended 8. And the left, I've been watching a lot of what's going on and since all this broke yesterday and everything. And it's really radio silence from the left because they know that they can't come out and criticize Trump because this is a universally good thing, ending a war. He has done everything he can do to end the war with Russia and Ukraine, and you got 2 guys that are nuts, mostly Putin, nuttier than Zelensky. And President Trump had said that over 7,000 soldiers have died in the Russian-Ukraine war just this last week. Now, I don't know how many of them were Russian, how many were Ukrainian, or if they were all Russian, I don't know. But he said over 7,000. For what? They're fighting, they're in a stalemate that is never going to end. That no, these people are dying for nothing over there. And they're both insane, but Putin's the worst. But what President Trump has done is absolutely amazing and unheard of, really. Presidents have been trying to broker peace deals with Israel and the Palestinians my entire life. None of them have come close to doing anything. It's not going to be perfect. There's still going to be problems, and there's always going to be fanatics, and people are going to blow crap up and things like this from time to time. But in the end, things are going to go very, very well. And Trump knows that rebuilding Gaza and turning it into a luxury vacation resort, Gaza-Lago, that'll be the way to keep permanent peace over there. You know, there's still Muslim countries that hate Israel, that hate Jews, that fund terrorism, and that's never going to stop. And there's always going to be an effort to try to keep Israel fighting. But what President Trump has done is nothing short of a miracle, and it's amazing. And I don't see how anyone could criticize it for it. Now, the media, they still hate him in the media. They still hate President Trump. But what they're doing is they're making such a big deal out of the Nobel Prize because that he may be awarded the Nobel Prize. He should get awarded all of them in every category. But the odds makers are saying he's not going to get. We don't know. But I think the media keep making a big deal about the Nobel Peace Prize because they want him to have a loss somehow. And I'll tell you, being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize obviously is a victory. But you know what? Them not awarding it to him is a victory too. Although I think he'd rather have it than not. But if they don't award it to him after he's ended 8 wars, they're not going to have any credibility with anyone anymore. Even their liberal friends. I would not be surprised. I really would not be surprised if they give the Nobel Peace Prize to Greta Thunberg for her flotilla nonsense. Would you be shocked? I would not be shocked at that. I hope they give it to Trump, and he certainly deserves. I mean, think about how many lives he's saved. How many people will be alive next week that would have died if he hadn't stopped this war? I mean, you look at all not just the 8 wars that he's ended. How many lives with these 8 wars has he ended? I mean, how many lives has he saved? How many people will live because he's ended 8 wars? How many people have not died because he shut down the border? Yeah, right? We don't have those caravans. People dying along the way. People, women and children being victimized along the way. People being killed in this country. You know, President Trump has deported over 2 million illegals already. Those are just the ones that immigration has deported. A lot of people more have self-deported, and a lot of these people that they've deported, their families followed them afterwards. So millions and millions of illegals have been deported. How many lives have been saved with that? He overturned Roe v. Wade in his first term. How many babies have been born that would not have been born since President Trump overturned Roe v. Wade? There's no way to put a number on it, but many millions of people, hundreds of millions of people over the course of time will be born and live full lives because he overturned Roe v. Wade. Not just because they weren't aborted, but they're going to have kids and grandkids and descendants and all of that too. So, you know, President Trump, you know, those of you out there that are never Trumpers, tell me why. And there's 2 things I don't want to hear when you tell me why. I don't want to hear January 6th, and I don't want to hear Epstein. That's just crap, okay? That's just things that people say that have no answers. Why do you really not like this man after all these lives that he has saved? Can you articulate it? So, you know, if you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can see the number pinned in the live chat. And the number's toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Now, I want to talk, and you're welcome to call in about what I just brought up. Now, I want to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. She gave an interview on CNN, and she's attacking Republicans. And I want to play some clips. This isn't the CNN interview with Blitzer today. This is another interview that Marjorie Taylor Greene gave, and I want to play this first and talk about it. And I'm going to tell you what Marjorie Taylor Greene's doing. There's a reason why Marjorie Taylor Greene is doing all of these crazy things.
I certainly support the president, but I'm not what would be the right way to say it. I'm not some sort of blind slave to the president, and I don't think anyone should. I serve in Congress. We are a separate branch of the government, and I'm not elected by the president. I'm not elected by anyone that works in the White House. I'm elected by my district. That's who I work for, and I got elected without the president's endorsement. And, you know, I think that has served me really well. So I get to be independent as a Republican, and I think what helps him the most is when he has people that are willing to be honest with him and not just tell him what they think he wants to hear.
I voted for.
Okay, so what's Marjorie Taylor Greene doing here, right? Why is she talking this way? Here's another clip of her. This is her from CNN.
New Washington.
This is the CNN interview today that everyone's freaking out about.
New Washington Post poll. It shows that 47% of Americans believe that President Trump and the Republicans are mainly responsible for the shutdown. You see it here on the screen, compared to just 30% of Americans who blame Democrats. Of course, Republicans are the ones with the power. Do you agree with Americans in that poll that see the shutdown as your party's fault?
You know what? I don't think the shutdown is popular for either side. And so I see the shutdown completely different from maybe my party leadership. And I'm not putting the blame on the president. I'm actually putting the blame on the speaker. And
okay, and before I play the rest of this, now in that first clip, she says, I support the president, but I'm not he's not a king with all this stuff. See, I will never disagree with President Trump. You will never hear me disagree or criticize President Trump ever. I've said this for 10 years. I stand by that today. And I don't want you to think when I say that he's done all these things that I don't approve of and I'm hiding it. I'm not. I mean, I agree with everything he's said and done. Always. But I do believe that Republicans should bow down to whatever he wants in this second term. You know, in this second term, this is a very unique presidency. Everything he's gone through, they shot him to stop him from doing the things that he's doing right now. They tried to kill him twice. You know, and the lawfare and all these things, I believe President Trump deserves the 100% loyalty of all Republicans. But anyway, back to Marjorie Taylor Greene on CNN today.
And Leader Thune in the Senate, this should not be happening. And I don't think, look, as a member of Congress, we already have a low enough job approval rating. This shutdown is just going to drive everybody's approval rating that much lower.
Yes. But so you're putting the blame on the leadership of your party.
Absolutely. We control the House. We control the Senate. We have the White House. I've been vocal saying, you can use the nuclear option in the Senate. This doesn't have to be a shutdown.
Okay, now the nuclear option, see, they have these, the Senate has all these rules so nothing gets done. And in general, that's a good thing because you don't want the government to be doing too much. Every time they pass a bill, right, they've taken a liberty away from you. You lose a right every time they pass a bill for the most part. It's kind of most of the time. So she's talking about the nuclear option. So they have these just bizarre rules in the Senate. And with this budget, you have to have a 60-vote majority. They don't have 60 votes. We don't have enough Republican senators. So Marjorie Taylor Greene is saying, well, they could use the nuclear option. The nuclear option, it just says throw out those ridiculous rules. They're not the law. We control the Senate. We can throw out that 60-vote majority and just do it with the 51. Simple majority is all we need. And there's a good reason not to do that, which I'll tell you in a minute.
Down. But what we have to do is we have to work for the American people. And our country is so divided right now. We see it all the time in every single way. It's divided in what I would say very dangerous ways. And we saw that with the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk, which has upset so many people across the board. And look, when it comes to hearing from senior citizens or my own friends and neighbors and my own family members and people that voted for me, and they're just saying, Marjorie, we just really want somebody to do something about health insurance premiums. We really want our government and our leaders to actually focus on our country for a change and fix our problems. That is the message I constantly hear from my district, and I'm a representative. I don't have to be a cheerleader for my party. I have to represent my district because those are the people that hired me and sent me here. And I myself, I agree with them, and I'm pretty much over it's just drama constantly on TV. No offense, because you guys are on television, but that's all that we see in American politics.
Okay, so what's going on here with Marjorie Taylor Greene? Is this a MAGA civil war? Has she betrayed Trump? And I must tell you, it's very weird to see her sitting down next to Wolf Blitzer and watch them just let her talk and like what isn't it weird to see? So what is Marjorie Taylor Greene doing here? Why is she doing this? And I got a couple more clips I'm going to play after I tell you what she's doing. I'll do the reveal, and then I'll play a couple more clips. And I'm curious if you agree with me or not. You can call me. You can let me know in the comments. You can let me know in the chat, whatever. But I'll tell you what she's doing here, okay? She's not on the outs with Trump. In fact, she is one of the most beloved MAGA people in the country. A lot of people are pissed off because they don't understand what she's doing here. And there's a big tell as to how I can say with confidence that she is in and tight and best buds with President Trump still. You know how that, you know what that is? We see it almost every single day. Her boyfriend, Brian Glenn, he's with, who's he with now? Is he with Real America's Voice now, Kathy? He used to be with Right Side Broadcasting for many, many years. And he's with Real America's Voice now. He's part of the White House press corps. He's in every Oval Office meeting. And President Trump goes to him first almost every time. And not only that, you can tell when Brian Glenn is asking questions of President Trump that they're buddies. It's not like some reporter that he likes. You can tell that they're friends. And if he were pissed off at Marjorie Taylor Greene, he wouldn't have that kind of relationship with Brian Glenn. It'd be a little more hostile. And he would take jabs. Oh, yeah, you got to talk to your girlfriend, Glenn. You understand what I'm saying? And so the fact that you see President Trump is, and I've only seen President Trump 2 times with somebody that's not in his family. 2 times I've seen President Trump with people that I know are like his buddies, like real buddies, not like work colleagues or somebody's got to do something with. Brian Glenn and Charlie Kirk. Because when I went to the Turning Point event and they were on stage together, there was just a chemistry between the two of them. You could tell they were like real buddies. Real buddies. You understand what I mean by that? So if Marjorie Taylor Greene were on the, would he be that friendly and that buddy with Brian Glenn if he were pissed off at Marjorie Taylor Greene and she was betraying him? No. So what's she doing? I'll tell you in a minute. This might be the clip I just played. I got a couple more, then I'll tell you what she's doing.
Hearing from my constituents, it's great. We track all the calls that come into my office. About 60% of the calls coming in right now are calls of support and saying, yes, health insurance is a crisis. They're telling us stories about how they're already paying $2,000 a month with $10,000 deductibles. I'm getting phone calls from people that are saying if the ACA tax credits expire, they aren't going to be able to have health insurance. They're going to have to drop it. But I'm hearing from people on both sides, people already on the ACA and people that are already getting crushed by high health insurance premiums.
Okay, so, and I think I have one more, but I'll tell you what she's doing. When you're in the House, being in the House of Representatives really sucks. It's really tough. There's talk of her wanting to go run in the Senate. I don't know if that's possible, if she could win statewide. But when somebody is in the House of Representatives, now you Gen Zs and Democrats and liberals and ever Trumpers out there, you may not know this because they don't teach you the very basics of American government anymore. But the House of Representatives, the entire House, there's 435 members of the House of Representatives. Every one of them is up for election every 2 years at the same time, every 2 years. A senator's got 6 years, and only a third of the Senate is up every 2 years. A third of the Senate's up every 2 years, 6-year term. So they don't worry until like the last year. To be a member of the House of Representatives, it is like a high-pressure sales job, right? They're always running. They never stop running, and it's a rough life. So she is saying these things because she's running for re-election. It's the midterms next year. And you keep hearing her say, my constituents, my constituents. I know for a fact that she is really in touch with her constituents. In fact, I interviewed her once, which is somewhere on the channel here. It was a while back, a year or two ago. And I love Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it was probably the best interview she's ever done. She never had an interview. It was when her book came out, right? And my wife had just ordered me the autographed copy of the book of hers, and and everything else. And I was talking to her about things her constituents had said. She knew exactly who I was talking about and what I was talking about. So she's saying what she has to say to get reelected. It's not that she's being fake. She cares about her constituents and she doesn't want them to have these problems, but she's up for reelection and she's not a sure bet. And these are the things they want to hear. The tells are, does she vote how we need her to vote? And by that I mean, does she vote with the Democrats? They might let, sometimes if we've got enough votes for something, both parties do this. If we've got enough votes for something, right, sometimes they'll let some people vote the other way just so they can save face with their constituents when they don't need their vote. But when her vote is needed, does she vote right or does she vote with the Democrats? She votes with Trump. She votes MAGA when it's necessary, okay? Has she gone against the president on a vote? Has she gone against the president on a vote where he was going to lose something big? No. So that's another tell. That her boyfriend. So no, this is not a betrayal on her part. Let me see here. Play this one here. Everyone's giving her such a hard time and hating on her today.
I've been vocal saying, you can use the nuclear option in the Senate. This doesn't have to be a shutdown. But what we have to do is we have to work for the American people.
See, there she goes with that. Okay, I played that one already. Let's see, what's this one?
You're concerned about...
Here we go. Here's another one. And and on CNN, Blitzer and this girl on CNN, they're so stupid and arrogant. They don't even understand that they're being played by her.
You're concerned about the cost of living.
Very.
That the President Trump said he would lower.
The inflation crushed people in the past 4.5 years, and the costs have not come down. I myself can tell you my apartment here in Washington, D.C., the electricity bill is $100 more than it was last year, because you can look at your own bill and look at costs. Prices have not come down. That is a reality. People's wages have not gone up. That's another reality. And so Americans are continuing to have a very difficult time getting by. And I'll go a step further. I'm a mom. And so when it comes to what is affecting my adult children's lives, who are 22, 26, and 28, I'm going to be 1,000% fighting for them over any politician and any party. And I can tell you right now, that generation, they are barely making it, and they're very hopeless for their future.
Yeah, and so we need her in the House. We want her in the House. She's as MAGA gets. You don't have to worry about Marjorie Taylor Greene. She's just doing what she's got to do to get reelected. It's as simple as that. And for all these people hating on her, come on, get a grip and be realistic. Now, you're welcome to disagree with me or agree. Whatever, Yeah, I'm certainly open to that. Now, if you're a Medicare recipient, I'm sure you're aware, it is Medicare open enrollment period right now. This is the only time of year that you could make changes to your Medicare policy. And you want to call Chapter. The number's on your screen. I'm going to give it to you in a moment. Chapter, they're going to give you help and review your Medicare policy at no charge, completely free, no gimmicks, no catches. They cover all 50 states, so no matter where you're located in America, give them a call. They can help. They'll make, a lot of insurance companies are getting out of Medicare altogether this year. So even if you think your policy, you're happy with it, give them a call. Have them review your policy to make sure you're not holding one of those policies that's not going to be around in the new year. But the average Chapter client saves $1,100 a year on their Medicare cost. That's right. So make sure you're not paying too much. Make sure your doctors are covered, your specialists are covered, your prescriptions are covered. Make sure your policy is going to be around next year. Also, millions and millions of seniors are not receiving all the Medicare benefits they're entitled to. Make sure that you're getting all the benefits you are entitled to with your Medicare. Give them a call, 805-754-3033. You're going to get a live agent on the phone who is going to help you completely for free. 805-754-3033. It's the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig. We'll take a quick break and be right back.
When you put on the uniform, fire, police, or military, you don't just do a job, you answer a calling. And AlphaKiloDesigns.com believe that service deserves more than thanks. It deserves action. Founded by Amanda and Kyle in pursuit of their American dream, and to serve first responders as well as our military personnel. AlphaKiloDesigns.com creates unique, high-quality novelty gifts that honor those who serve. From firehouse favorites to police pride and military tribute designs. AlphaKiloDesigns.com is also about giving back and educating communities on how they can support the men and women who protect and serve us each and every day. And a portion of every sale goes back to help fund our under-supported fire departments, paramedic companies, and police departments across the United States. Start shopping right now at AlphaKiloDesigns.com. And remember, free shipping on orders over $100. That's right, free shipping. You'll also find them on Facebook and Instagram. AlphaKiloDesigns.com, where every purchase makes a difference. Do you have old Pokemon cards sitting in a closet or a binder? What if I told you some of those cards could be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars? The secret is grading. Grading is when professionals inspect your card's condition and give it a score. And that score can turn a $50 card into a $5,000 collectible. But here's the problem. Most collectors don't know which cards are worth grading or how to do it without wasting money. That's where the unofficial handbook for grading and selling Pokemon cards from author Jonathan Oakes, available on Amazon, comes in. This book is the first straightforward guide that explains grading in simple, easy-to-understand steps. When you read the official handbook for grading and selling Pokemon cards, you'll learn which cards to grade, how to send them cost-effectively, which services you can trust, and the smartest way to sell them online once they're graded. CBS and the Wall Street Journal both report that Pokemon cards are one of the hottest investments right now. Don't let your cards sit in the dark. Learn how to unlock their true value. Order your copy of The Unofficial Handbook for Grading and Selling Pokemon Cards from author Jonathan Oakes on Amazon, available in Kindle and free with Kindle Unlimited. Start collecting smarter and making money. Order your copy right now. Imagine a world where a single plant powers new industries, new opportunities, and a cleaner tomorrow. After the passage of the 2018 Farm Bill, hemp is doing just that. From textiles to building materials, health products to eco-friendly alternatives, hemp has the power to replace top products and create a more sustainable tomorrow. In the new book, Unlocking the Secrets of CBD, Taking Hemp from Seed to Sale, written by the founder of the successful online business, HempThirdEye.com, Unlocking the Secrets of CBD takes you inside the entire industry, from planting to producing high-quality hemp products ready for the marketplace. If you're ready to take part in this green revolution, start right now and order your copy of Unlocking the Secrets of CBD. The link is in the description of this episode, and as a bonus, the author is offering a free 30-minute consultation to talk with you about the physical and economic opportunities of hemp. Hemp is the future. Be a part of it. Order your copy right now. Unlocking the Secrets of CBD. The link is in the description of this episode. Make your home extraordinary with Adria.Best. Luxurious seating, hand-picked accents, and smart design features bring depth and character to every room. Explore the full range at adria.best and experience interiors where comfort meets impeccable style. Adria.Best, where every detail counts.
The aggression.
All right, welcome back, everyone.
To a permanent ceasefire and the withdrawal of the army, and to allow the.
Okay, hold on. We'll get to that in just a second. Welcome back, everyone. I got a lot to do. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Okay, so the Democrats have the government shut down, and President Trump said yesterday the military is going to get paid next week. He said, don't worry about that. He says, we're going to take care of the military. But the government shutdown, Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about the nuclear option. President Trump's going to pay the people that need to get paid, in particular the military. Okay, so don't even worry about that. All of us, I love how all of a sudden Democrats are worried about the military. They're not so worried that they're not going to shut down the government, but the Democrats are acting like they care about the military. what, the leaders of the imperialist country that you hate so much that are going around and, going into our cities and deporting your constituents? Come on, give me a break. What a bunch of liars. But there's a great benefit from the government shutdown. President Trump's about to fire permanently, not just furlough, fire a whole bunch of federal workers that he's wanted to fire, and he has extraordinary firing powers during a government shutdown. So there's great benefits about it. But, the Democrats, if there's the wrong side of an issue to take, they take it. And they're blinded by their hatred of Trump. That's what Trump derangement syndrome is. And they're also in a panic state because they have these lowbrow people like Hakeem Jeffries, who is not qualified to be the leader of a party in the House of Representatives. I mean, he's amateur hour, and he's been having meltdowns ever since that sombrero video that President Trump posted on Truth Social. He just hasn't been able to get his act together ever since then. He's got a very fragile ego for a guy that's on the national stage. But they're in a state of anxiety, which is a panic attack. They're having panic attacks over the future of their party as well. And so they're making decisions in an anxiety state. They're making the wrong decisions. And one of the problems they have, this is a black woman in Chicago. The Democrats, long ago, it's been a while, but long ago, the Democrats did so well because...
No, don't shake your head, because what's pitiful is you being able to be an alderman after you did such a thing. And then you got the audacity to be talking about some immigrant rights.
Hear that? And she goes on for quite a while. She's in Chicago, and she is pissed beyond belief about all the Democrats that she's probably supported her entire life are not doing anything for her, her family, or her community, but are doing all these things for illegals. And people are fed up with it. It's not just Republicans that are fed up with it, all right? It's people that are lifelong Democrats. They feel betrayed, and they see what's going on, so they're done with them. And you're seeing it all over the country. You look at what's going on in Chicago, in Illinois as a whole, all these states, but in particular, all eyes are on Illinois right now, right? Because the Texas National Guard is there. And it's really a sad thing if you look at what's going on in Chicago. Chicago has been a deadly city for decades. Kash Patel said there are so many people that are affiliated with gangs in the city of Chicago. There's over 110,000 gang-affiliated people in Chicago right now. About 5% of the population are gang-affiliated. That's crazy, isn't it? It certainly is, and not every criminal's in a gang. And you have a city that is the wild, wild west. The wild, wild west that we talk about, it meant, what that means is it's lawless. There's no law out there. There's no law really in Portland either. You have a corrupt police department, a corrupt mayor. Let me pull up this clip. I wasn't going to play this, but I'm going to play it. The mayor really got it. The mayor of Chicago, he's a beaut. He got asked a great question. He was really humiliated. I'll pull this up, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. It explains itself. Let me see. It's not that one. Let's see here. I'll find it in a minute. I was just watching this a little bit ago, and I'll find it and play it for you before the end of the show. I might have to look for it a little later. But I'll pull it. I'll find it because I know I got it here. But, you've got this city that it's not just completely lawless. It's dangerous. And, not everybody is a criminal in Chicago, right? There's a lot of people in Chicago who, here it is. Here's the clip I wanted to show. There's a lot of people in Chicago who are law-abiding citizens that have kids that want to be able to send their kids to school, and they're afraid their kids are going to get shot and killed. It's dangerous. You can't walk the streets. And the government of Chicago and that idiot governor of Illinois thinks that's perfectly acceptable. And, you know, President Trump had to send the Texas National Guard there because he couldn't, you know, the problems with the Illinois National Guard. And these Texas guys, the Texas National Guard are not the same as the Illinois National Guard or the Oregon National Guard, okay? I mean, these are Texans. Texans, it's not just the Texans are tough and conservatives. Texans consider themselves like a country almost. So he sent the National Guard soldiers from Texas. There's not going to be any bonding between them and these gangbangers. And, you know, in Chicago, a lot of people wrongly assume that it's, you know, black crime. And there certainly is that, but about half of it is Hispanic, that from the gangs and the cartels. Okay, here's the clip I wanted to play. This explains itself, so I'm not going to explain. This is the mayor of Chicago, and he has a press conference. And a reporter asks a great question. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want to spoil it for you. By the way, my name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. And if you would like to catch the show live, if you can go to any podcast platform and search the Brian Craig Show, and I'll come right up. But if you want to catch the show live, follow me on YouTube. And on YouTube, I live stream the podcast, and that's where you can watch live and call in. If you'd like to support the program, become a Patreon supporter. If you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes, as well as a lot of other exclusive content that my wife and I both post there that we post nowhere else. Plus, you're supporting all my content. If you become a top Patreon supporter, you get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every episode and get your name up on the screen. So the names you will hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SF Jr., Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, Lizep, Shauna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, and our newest top Patreon supporter just added to the list, Irene. Thank you so much for your support. There's a link in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're listening on to my Patreon page, or you can just go to the direct website, patreon.com/real Brian Craig Show. All right, so listen to this. Again, I'm not going to tell you what he says because it spoils it. So this is the idiot mayor of Chicago. He has a press conference, and a very sharp guy asks him a very good question.
Well, the real Chicagoans that I talk to, that I communicate with, mostly black and brown, actually, tell me that you don't seem to know the difference between illegal aliens and real Chicago citizens.
That's true.
They feel that you are siding with the illegal aliens over them in their communities. And okay, sadly,
William, let's get to the question.
Let's get to the question. The real question is simply this. I don't know how to make it any more direct. An illegal alien from Nicaragua grabbed a woman on the north side last week, bashed her head into the sidewalk, knocked her unconscious, and raped her. If that had been your wife, Stacey.
Okay, all right, we're not going to answer that. Thank you. Thanks, Wes.
All right.
Now, this guy, do you notice that person you hear talking? Is that a question? We're not going to answer that. It's not the mayor. The mayor's sitting there in silence. He has some handler who's speaking for him. Right? I mean, this guy, there's not a functioning government in Chicago. Let me rewind it. This is a great question. I want you to hear the end.
Illegal aliens over them in their communities. And sadly,
William, let's get to the question.
Let's get to the question. The real question is simply this. I don't know how to make it any more direct. An illegal alien from Nicaragua grabbed a woman on the north side last week, bashed her head into the sidewalk, knocked her unconscious, and raped her. If that had been your wife, Stacey.
Okay, all right, we're not going to answer that. Thank you. Thanks, Wes.
All right. Would you want ICE to deport her?
All right. Let's move on.
Yes or no?
Let's move on.
Answer the question as a man, not as mayor, but as a man. Would you want
thanks. Thank you.
to deport that rapist?
All right. Taman?
Okay.
Mayor.
That's the answer. That's the answer for real Chicago.
Mayor, sorry for being late. The traffic's bad. Maybe the feds could help.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. I mean, was that not the perfect question? It was absolutely the perfect question. Now, it was just raining, cats and dogs outside. You know, if you're in the state of Florida, you know, it is hurricane season. It is rainy season. And if you've got a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof. You want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. You know, Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. So if you're in the state of Florida and you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you want to call Tom Laporta. He handles both residential and commercial, but he also does municipal roofs, and he even does church roofs and other specialty roofs like that as well. He works with every type of roofing material. He also works with every size job too. No job is too small or too big for Tom Laporta. If you have just a single family home or one office building, or you have a HOA with over 400 units, Tom Laporta can help. He's not just a roofer, he's also a general contractor, which allows him to deal directly with your insurance company for the cost of the repair or the replacement of your roof. He's a good MAGA guy. He'll never sell you a roof you do not need. Call Tom Laporta. This number rings directly to his cell phone. And when you guys hear me talking about Tom Laporta, what I do when I talk about Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing, I take out my cell phone and pick up the most recent text message exchange he and I have had, and then that's how I get the number. I look right on my text. His number, again, you can call or text 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. Or his website is laportaroofing.com. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. I'm Brian Craig. We'll be right back. On the line, we have Bruce. Bruce is a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. He heard me talking with Joe Thomas about annuities and what a great deal they are, and he went in with his wife, and now he's a client. Hey, Bruce, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brian.
So tell me about your experience with Jupiter Joe Thomas.
A fine gentleman. We sat down with Joe, and we explained everything to him, and we brought all our information, and he worked everything out great.
The cool thing about annuities is your money's never at risk. You're guaranteed a revenue stream for the rest of your life, but there's a bonus, really a signing bonus, where you can make a boatload of money before you even leave Joe Thomas's office. Can you talk a little bit about that, Bruce?
Well, that's where I was surprised when we sat down. We talked about the bonuses, and to my amazement, it was 10%, and there was even another one that's bigger.
Wow, that's amazing. So you made 10% on your money before you even got back in your car.
Yeah, it was more than that, but it was great.
Listen, guys, do what Bruce did. Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call. You can set up a free consultation either on the phone or in the office, and Joe Thomas will put together a custom proposal just for you. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online at jupiterjoe.com. All right, Bruce, thanks so much.
All right, thank you, Brian.
All right, welcome back. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, where MAGA comes to talk, and we got some great news. Oh boy, Letitia James just indicted by the Justice Department. This is CNN. I'm reading this from CNN because I want to hear how the liberals process this. Okay, New York Attorney General Letitia James and lawfare participant was indicted today in Alexandria, Virginia, as President Donald Trump's Justice Department continues to pursue charges against his political opponents. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? All right, let me go to Fox. That's how CNN. The CNN is saying that it's a political thing. But what she did was legitimate. Let's see here. Do they have the story on Fox yet? No, they don't. Let's see here. Letitia James has been under investigation since May over a 2023 mortgage she took out to help her niece buy a home in Virginia. The charges come as Trump continues to call for his enemies to be prosecuted in court. Yeah, because they're criminals. CNN's version of the story is pretty out there, but She's indicted, and it didn't say anything about that mortgage that she got with her father, where she said that her father was her husband, right? Remember that one? This is the best. No one deserves it. We got Comey first, right? He got a reign yesterday. And now we've got Letitia indicted. Okay, here's CNN reporting on it. Let me play this.
Senator, I'm going to ask you to stand by for me for just 1 second.
Breaking news.
And I would like to come back to the senator to get her to react to this immediately. But we do need to get to this breaking news out of the White House with Kristen Holmes. Kristen, I understand we have some legal breaking news.
Yeah, we have just learned that New York Attorney General Letitia James, who obviously brought the charges and won against President Donald Trump, has just been indicted by the Department of Justice. This was a case that President Trump wanted to be brought. It's a mortgage fraud case, and it's also what led to the leaving of the U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia, Eric.
Yeah, there you got it. We got her. And this is a beautiful thing. And crazy thing about it is those fake charges she brought against Trump were the crime that she's been indicted for, right? The mortgage fraud. I guess that's why she could charge him with a false crime. She knows all the ins and outs of that crime. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. Once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. Now, if you're on hold, stand by. I got to tell you, this is beautiful. Yeah, and if I was putting together a list of the Democrats that I want indicted first, number 1 would be Comey, and number 2 would be Letitia James. Those would be my first 2 on my list. If I was making a list, all right, arrest this one first, right? Wouldn't you? That's exactly what I would do. It'd be Comey and then her. Those are the 2. They're all terrible, okay, and they all need to be. And many more indictments are coming, but we've got 2 now. So 7-8 months. It was worth the wait. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey,
Hold on a second while I answer these lines. Okay, go ahead. Yeah, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Tim, Baltimore, Maryland.
Hey, Tim. Great day. Letitia James indicted. Time to celebrate.
Yeah, I just have a couple questions. And now I'm not far left. I'm not libertarian.
How do you feel about Letitia James being indicted for mortgage fraud? She's a criminal. And she probably should resign as Attorney General of New York. How can you be the top law enforcement officer for the state of New York when you're facing a federal indictment and prison time in Virginia on federal charge? Doesn't it sound like she needs to resign?
Oh, most definitely. She's no better than what we have down here. We have Governor Westmore, who's also a thief who takes thousands and thousands and thousands of U.S. tax dollars and puts nothing into the city to improve the lifestyle for the civilian inhabitants that live here.
Well, that's Maryland.
We continue to look like a landfill.
Yeah. Well, so this is great.
Maryland being Democratic, it's ridiculous.
So what's on your mind? Why'd you call today?
So what's on my mind is I am a far-right conservative, and I'm also an American nationalist. So I don't agree with anything from the left. I'm not a libertarian. But I do have a question as to why, I voted for Trump.
Good.
Due to immigration crisis and the taxpayer dollars going up, and I just want to know that why is Trump's a Christian, so I believe and I have Christian values. I'm not forcing religion on anybody that is listening right now. But why do we take orders from Prime Minister Netanyahu?
Well, we don't. In fact, if you follow that, that's just an absurd thing. Who's taking orders from Netanyahu?
Well, technically, 98% of our country is
who's taking who is taking orders from Netanyahu right now?
Trump, the whole conservative party is.
Netanyahu. You're not. Excuse me. You're wrong. In fact, President Trump, who just brokered this historic peace deal between Israel and Gaza, I talked about this at the top of the podcast. Netanyahu did not want this war to end. He did not want this war to end. He wanted to wipe out the Palestinians and reclaim Gaza for Israel. So President Trump went against what Netanyahu wanted. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Sorry, doesn't fit into your stereotype. And by the way, I don't think he voted for Trump. Who goes around and uses Nash? He's trying to pass himself off as a Nazi who supports Trump. Give me a break. Grow up. Call some amateur doing a show in their bedroom that doesn't have a lick of sense. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hello. Can you hear me?
No.
What? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi. Oh, okay. Hello.
Hello, yeah?
Did you ask my name?
No. I'm not. I don't really.
Okay.
I'm not interested in your name.
Well, hello, Brian.
Yes.
I haven't really heard of you before, but I
Yes.
just saw you're live,
Yeah.
and I have a question for you.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Yeah. What'd you do? Did you just get home from school?
No.
Really? You skipped school today?
What?
How old are you?
What'd you say?
How old are you?
I am 18.
18? What do you do? Do you go to school?
Yep. Yeah.
You go to school, so you just got home from school.
No, I'm on break.
You're on break. What kind of break are you on?
We have a fall break.
Okay. What grade are you in?
I'm a senior.
Okay. A senior in high school. Okay. Let me hear your question. Hold on
All
one
right,
second. Hold on a second here while I answer these
The
other
government.
ones.
Oh wait, what did you say?
Yeah, go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, I'm in a government class, and
Oh.
I'm just wondering why you're wearing a Trump 2028 hat.
Because I would like Trump to run for president in 2028 and win.
Okay, why is that?
Because he's the greatest president this country has ever had, and he needs another term to make America great again.
Do you
I mean, do you have some problem? I mean, why don't you like Trump? What is it about Trump you don't like?
Have you?
What is it about Trump you don't like?
It's federally illegal to run for a third
No, I didn't
term.
ask you about that. He's not. I asked you, what about Trump do you not like? You know what I'm going to do?
That's it. You
Oh,
can't
that's
run
it.
for a third term.
Well,
You
he's
can't.
not. He's not running. But I'm gonna say this to you in closing. Call me back call me back in about 10 years when you grow up. All right, when you're paying your own bills and you grow up and you're like a man. All right. All right. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, how you doing, Brian? This is Maria from Florida.
Hey, Maria.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
I wasn't.
Letitia
Okay.
James indicted. It's a day of celebration.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I've been celebrating all day because it's about time that Hamas come to their sense and release these hostages. And this hope, I pray, I ain't going to say hope, I pray that they do what they say they won't do so our president won't have to bomb the hell out of them.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm happy. I'm proud of President Trump. I wish I could reach out to him because I have been trying to reach out to him for about a couple of months, but I know I can't.
Well, you never know. You never know who's listening. Somebody that's close to the president might hear one of your calls to me. You never know.
Well, I want this message to get to him. He is the greatest president in the modern day history.
Yes.
Not in the world, but the history.
That's right.
And he have achieved something that no other president ever have achieved.
What's that?
And I
What's that?
appreciate
What's
him.
that? What's he done that no president has done? What are you referencing?
Brought peace
Yes.
in the Middle East.
Yes.
Brought America back to its standard and still working hard to keep America straight again, make America great again, make America safe again, and make America whole again for all Americans, and keep these illegals out of our country.
That's right.
That's why I say he's the greatest.
He sure is. He sure is. He's pretty awesome. It's a great day. I mean, he ended a war yesterday, and then today Letitia James gets indicted. I mean, this is just it's just nonstop winning.
Yeah. It is a great time to be in America, and I have something for all the haters and all the liberals. Please come to your sense, because if you keep going down this road, harassing people, calling my favorite show, harassing Brian and Steve, it ain't going to work, because we are going to stick together.
That's right.
We're going to keep America and keep our president safe.
That's right.
And
All right.
that's what I have to say.
All right, Marie in Florida. Thanks so much. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to ask you this. This is a very important question. Are you in pain? Well, if you're in pain, you haven't taken my advice, and that's to go see Dr. Philip Appleton. You know, he offers free, no-charge consultations. Talk to him about his robotic laser away pain treatment. He's rid me of pain 7 times. His laser treatment not only rids you of pain, it repairs the damage that causes the pain. Works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. Herniated disc, rotary tears, acute pain, chronic pain, plantar fasciitis, fibromyalgia, spinal stenosis, sciatica, tinnitus, knee pains, neck injuries, back injuries, post-surgical swelling, repetitive motion injuries, strains and sprains, work injuries, sports injuries, arthritis, bursitis. The list goes on. I mean, that's a very incomplete list. Those are some of the more common pains. If you're in pain, you don't have to live in pain anymore. You don't have to be a junkie and start taking pain pills. You know, with the robotic laser, it is 100% painless. You don't even feel the treatment when it's happening. That's right. There's no shots, no surgery, no downtime. It takes just a few minutes. I just usually sit there and scroll through the news on my phone, watch some YouTube, go through X or something while I'm having the treatment done. And Dr. Appleton performs all the treatments himself, not an assistant. Walk-ins are welcome and appointments are never necessary. Give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. You're tuned in to the Brian Craig Show podcast, which is on all podcast platforms. Go to any podcast platform and search for The Brian Craig Show. I will pop up and tune in. Make sure you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. And if you want to catch the show live, when I take live calls, go to my YouTube channel, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. You can catch me there and catch me live. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike.
You know, just remember that. Just think about it this way with Letitia James.
Oh, it's awesome.
This isn't the first time she's probably done this. This is just the time that she's gotten caught doing it.
Well, we know of a whole bunch of times. She did this racket where she said her dad was her husband to get a mortgage. Yep. Remember that?
Yeah, we've always asked the question: how did she get to be worth $20 million?
Exactly.
Her personal worth. Yeah, and that's the thing. And as far as our beloved MTG, just remember this about MTG. How did MAGA Mike Johnson get to be the speaker?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Tell me. I don't know.
Well, remember...
You asked the question, so
well, she...
You got the answer.
Remember, DT called her on her phone, and she handed it to your former House member there.
Yes, Matt Gaetz.
Matt Gaetz, yeah. She ended up helping get MAGA Mike Johnson elected.
That's right. You're right. Hey, appreciate the call. Yeah, these are exciting times, people. These are exciting times. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Nick out of Baltimore.
Oh, Nick, what a day to celebrate. Trump ended his 8th war and Letitia James indicted. I mean, this is awesome.
Let me tell you, this is so momentous. I mean, what a great day. Peace in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. Letitia James.
It's the best.
And by the way, the other shoe for Comey hasn't dropped yet. There's another indictment coming in Florida?
So they say. So goes the rumor. Pam Bondi has a grand jury. It's been reported by Solomon at the same courthouse where the Trump assassin was just convicted from the golf course.
That's right.
In Fort Pierce, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, things are happening.
It's all happening.
It's going to take some time, but this is great. This is great. The Democrats are done.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
The Democrats
are
really done.
I know. This is the best.
Hey, thanks for the show.
All right. Well, thanks for calling. It's so unusual to see Democrats like this get arrested. And don't let anyone tell you this is political retribution. These are criminals, okay? These are criminals that were committing criminal acts against President Trump. And in Letitia's case, not only was she committing crimes against President Trump, she was committing some other crimes on the side with this mortgage stuff. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Max, and I'm from Ohio.
All right. Hey, appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right. You missed your chance. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Oh, hey, Sean. What's up?
Oh, what a day.
Good. I mean, think about it. We got Comey indicted yesterday in the morning. In the afternoon, Trump ends the war with Israel and Gaza. And then today, Letitia James gets indicted. This is the week of winning. It's not even Friday yet.
And amazing how we did that. Like, you know, the news broke right out on the piece right during that Antifa meeting, which was another success.
Yeah.
And, you know, and amazing that clip you just showed about that reporter that was pressing Brandon Johnson with that question. That guy, just by that question alone, deserves an award.
Yes.
And
that was a good one.
Speaking of awards, you know, Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, DRC and Rwanda, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan. Donald Trump had solved all 7 of those.
Do you have those memorized, or did you write that down? Did you have that memorized?
I memorized it.
That's awesome. It sounds like a song. Like we could write a song about that, right?
We could.
India and Pakistan, Israel and Gaza. I don't know. I can't sing or write songs, but
like that old McDonald's commercial.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just so happy that, you know, like this is amazing. Now we have, and now, you know, we need the Nobel Peace Prize to come.
That's right. That's right.
It's
well, listen, I appreciate the call. All right, we're gonna move on, but I appreciate the call. The rest of you that are on hold, stand by. I'll be live tomorrow. You know, tomorrow on tomorrow's show in the morning, it's Friday. And Friday is Open MAGA Mike Friday. That's what we call Friday show, Open MAGA Mike Friday. You can call in about anything and everything on your mind on tomorrow's show. So if you stay on hold, well, you might be first in line tomorrow when I take calls. My name's Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk, The Brian Craig Show, on all podcast platforms. Just go to wherever you get your podcasts and search for The Brian Craig Show, and the show comes right up. But if you want to catch the show live when I'm taking live calls, follow me on YouTube, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. All right, guys, take care. I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for tuning in.